Welcome back everybody to Relentless Dota. This is a game that is going to be pretty interesting, mostly because of the way that it was drafted. If you've been watching the channel for any length of time, you've probably seen too many teams up against a sniper with no ability to focus him or get to the backlines and kill him. In this case, that's not true at all. The reason why is Sniper was the last pick of the game. 9 characters chosen before him, and with the 10th pick, Sniper decided to choose Sniper. Why is that a bad idea? Well, he's up against a Slark, which is a character that stealths in and jumps on him and kills him, a Weaver, a character that phases, speeds in, and kills him, and a Shadowfiend who almost definitely buys a Shadow Blade, comes in, ults, and kills him. 3 of the characters on the opposite side are direct counters to Sniper, and yet he decided to pick Sniper anyway. This happens all too often in ranked matches when a character decides, hey, I'm going to play Sniper no matter what anybody picks, and I'm going to wait for the last pick because I'm a dick. If he had chosen Sniper first, well then his team could have built solutions around him to help him. Instead, he's got an Axe that's not really going to do it for him because Axe is going to have to stay in the off lane. He's got a Gyrocopter who has 1 stun that's pretty good, but the Gyrocopter happens to be an awful player. He's got a Pudge, but he's going to rely on what? Pudge to hook him to safety? Probably not. He's got Lion who's going to have to go up and babysit the Gyro in safe lane. None of these characters have massive ults that would allow Sniper to thrive. If they had something like a Tide Hunter who could ult and basically freeze the board for him, or a Naga Siren who could sleep everybody and reset the fight, then maybe a Sniper might work against these heroes. The better answer is to choose something other than Sniper. So far in the lane, we've got Sniper losing the lane to Shadowfiend. Shadowfiend at 7-2, Sniper at 5-2. Meanwhile, Underlord and Weaver are up in the top lane, up against a Lion who's mediocre at best, and a Gyrocopter who's pretty awful. That allows Underlord to go and last hit just by spamming the wave, and allows Weaver to go and pick up all the bounty runes, so Lion is getting no gold. Even with a stun, they don't have any kind of damage to do anything serious to the Underlord. He can just walk it off. And now Lion, who's decided to rely on his Mana Steal, is going to be sadly surprised that Underlord has gotten a Soul Ring already. What that means is he's put a point to his Mana Steal and a point to his stun. He can go and steal all the mana that Underlord has, and then Underlord at any moment can pop his Soul Ring and immediately cast a spell before the mana is gone. So the Mana Steal doesn't actually hurt Underlord. That means that Lion has a 53 damage attack up against Underlord, who blocks 20% roughly of his base attack damage. So he's doing 30 damage a hit to Underlord, and he's got a stun on a low cooldown, but he can't really do any damage to follow it up. Meanwhile, we've got Gyrocopter with just a wand, no other regen. He's finally gotten boots now, but because he's running around with no regen, he's always at low health and has to basically just hug his own tower. That allows Underlord and Weaver to deny and to last hit. Notice, Underlord's actually focused on denies, so is Shadowfiend. That's something that at the 1500 MMR level people fail to do. They focus too much on last hitting. Yes, actually too much. The reason why is every deny you get gives you experience and gives your enemy 0. If you don't deny it and the creeps kill it, the enemy gets some experience. If the enemy kills it, he gets a lot of experience. So denies are massive for holding down the enemy. It's like sitting on their chest as a very fat person and hoping they can't breathe. Underlord just nukes his way out of that, goes back to last hitting, deny, and is pulling the lane back away from the tower so Gyro can't hug his tower any longer. When we look around to the other lanes, Weaver has now killed Lion again. There's a 3-1 lead and a 1k gold advantage. Let's head over to mid for a little bit. Here we've got Shadowfiend, who's already got a bottle, already got his boots. So he's fast, he hits hard, he's already got 21 souls. And because he's got a bottle, he's able to stay in lane and sustain himself. Meanwhile, he's up against a Sniper who went Aquila and boots, so he's got some damage. And he went 3 in shrapnel. So he's relying on basically nuking waves with shrapnel. He finally gets a ward down on Shadowfiend's side. That was a nice play. But Shadowfiend's getting 3 or 4 more last hits in the meantime. Shadowfiend now at 39-12, denying everything. And Sniper at 17-3. That's giving him no level advantage yet, but a substantial net worth gold advantage. Let's take a look and see exactly how much. Shadowfiend at 3,000, Sniper down at 2,000. It's about a 900 gold advantage already. Weaver's gotten 2 kills and an assist. Axe is actually doing well in the bottom lane. Let's go see what's going on down there. When we head down to the bottom lane, we've got a Slark and we've got a Dazzle up against an Axe. Now, Axe has gotten a couple of kills. Axe is getting a lot of last hits, but only one more than the Slark, and Slark is a notoriously slow starter. Slark is supposed to lose the lane. It's later in the game when Slark actually becomes powerful. So by staying here and getting some help from the Dazzle, he's holding his own against an Axe, which he shouldn't be able to do. Axe should be punishing him constantly, and isn't. Now with Dazzle's help, they're going to go on Axe, and they're actually going to kill him. Pudge comes down and misses a hook. That's the first of many, many hooks he's about to miss. They get back under tower. Dazzle has the heals. They've got enough sustain to stay in the lane. And now Slark is able to last hit under tower, where Axe is going to have a lot more problems trying to contest. What's happening in that mid lane to the Sniper? He's been left alone because, frankly, he was losing so badly that Shadowfiend felt strong enough to go top and chase down some kills. Shadowfiend is now just clearing the entire wave top and doing tower damage. Lion has spent all of his money on wards, which doesn't really help him because there's nothing they can do with the vision. They can just watch where death is coming from and then die anyway. Now, in lane swap, Underlord has gone mid because Shadowfiend was roaming. And in doing so, holds off the Sniper, who does no damage to tower, picks up some needed experience. Shadowfiend rotates back in. And in the interim, Sniper was damaged enough that he's going to have to run back to his base. Pudge misses yet another hook. Underlord's gone top. With Sniper going back to base, that's been noticed, and everyone's gone to top and bottom. Weaver has rotated in mid for the free experience up against the Sniper, which again was a horrible draft pick. And the kills just keep coming. Shadowfiend showing up in unexpected places, doing massive amounts of damage. He's now hitting for 160 damage a pop with his right click. He's got a bottle, he's got a killer, he's got boots, he's got a wand. He's building items very rapidly. He returns to mid lane. Sniper's probably not even expecting to see him. And he just starts going back to last hitting once again. No fear of the Sniper whatsoever. They now start tri-laning top, which makes no sense because they're tri-laning against an Underlord, and as we've seen before, that just doesn't lead to any kills. He walks off the missile hit, goes back in, defends the tower, and they decide, okay, let's just all go mid instead. That gets called out by the Underlord. Shadowfiend is ready for it. He's backed off behind his tower. We can safely last hit. Down bottom, we've got Weaver, who's rotated in because he does serious tower damage, along with Dazzle for some sustain and Slark, and they start taking that bottom tower. There's a skirmish. Axe hits nothing. Dazzle graves himself. And they finally do get a last hit, but they've committed 5 people to bottom lane. In the meantime, Underlord's up top, pushing away, and they only got the 1 kill, and they killed the support Dazzle. Gyrocopter is using his missile defensively to stop people from coming at him, rather than offensively to get a kill. A nice play by Shadowfiend, Weaver, and by Dazzle. They get the kill, and in the interim, Underlord has taken the top tower and has now started pushing towards the T2. Sniper, on the other hand, chipping away at a T1 tower. T1 bottom is falling. It's down. Axe is forced to rotate top to defend against Underlord. It's already been called out that Axe is their best player. And so now at this point, Underlord's just kiting Axe around the map, making him go top, leaving lesser players bottom against better players. Weaver does get killed. Pudge finally lands a hook, and Sniper is able to capitalize. DD Rune called out. The push is starting mid. Axe did push, but doesn't actually pursue any pressure. He just kind of hits the tower and runs, which allows Underlord to come back up top, push the lane back out. And let's take a look at how much damage they have done. Only 400 damage to the top tower. Only 600 to the bottom tower. And only 70, I'm sorry, to the bottom tower, 600 to the mid tower. So they keep coming in, they keep getting hits on the tower, and then they keep backing off before any real damage gets done. Finally, it looks like they are committing to hitting the mid tower. That cost them the death of Axe, their best player, top, which is allowing the Radiant side to push in for the top T2. Pudge comes up to defend. Underlord now has his Meteor Hammer and starts doing serious damage to the tower. They're able to bully Pudge back out. And they've managed to take a third of that tower. Meanwhile, mid tower is about to fall. The amount of building damage being done by the Radiant side every time they get an opportunity to hit a tower is 5 times what's being done by the Dire side when they do get to hit a tower. Dazzle gets away, Shadowfiend comes in, he's got his Yules now for his combo. Pudge lands a hook that made no sense. It's like he's just trying to dance with Shadowfiend as opposed to killing him. And all the while, Underlord continues pushing in another lane, split pushing to take another tower. Every time there's an engagement, there's serious damage being done to that other tower. Underlord now ults. They go on him with everything they've got, and he simply disappears back to base where he can now get his health back. In the meantime, pressure starts coming forward in the mid lane. They're going to go on Lion again. That doesn't look very good for Lion, who's dead. Weaver's going to get stunned. He's got help from Dazzle and Shadowfiend. Slark is now online at 12. Comes in and gets the kill. It's now 19-11 with a 7k gold lead. And Slark is now a serious actual hero at this point at 13. Drawing all their attention away while Underlord is bottom. Yes, Sniper's defending, but Underlord managed to chip away another half of the tower, so it's now down to about a quarter of its health. It's constant pressure on the map.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified, just like me.
Not a lot happening in the last minute. Just all the lanes being pushed in. Axe finally realizes he's got to do something to start getting some towers down because no one else is doing any tower damage. But in doing so, he's just giving up too much of the map top. It's too easy to spot Axe in the lane, see where he is, and just go elsewhere. Now with pressure top, Underlord steps forward, Meteor hammers mid, and that tower is going to come down. All the while, Shadowfiend continues to chase the Axe away from the bottom tower. Sniper can't even really contest the tower at this point. He just has to step back, and Underlord has taken the mid tower. What happened to the bottom tower? It's basically half there. They took half a tower in exchange for the top tower and the mid T2. There's a DD in the river now. Lanes are pushing in, and everyone's farming for items once again. Let's take a look at net worth at this point. and it's not really going to be a surprise. A 10,000 net worth on the Shadowfiend, an 8,000 on the Slark, 7,000 on Underlord, and then finally Sniper and Axe come in 6,000 apiece, only 1,000 ahead of the Weaver, who ended up playing a Roamer. There's another kill to pump that number even higher, and a 12k net worth on the Radiant side. When we take a look at the graphs, you can see the net worth is just skyrocketing. Experience almost identical. And as far as the chance to win, we're 21 minutes in, and it's saying almost 100% chance of victory, and that's largely due to the team composition. The Axe is the only difficult kill on the entire Dire side. A poorly chosen fight at the shrine. Meanwhile, what's happening because of it? Underlord continuing to take the bottom tower. Knowing he's in only against Sniper, he's taken almost the entire tower, and now Sniper's pretty much forced to deny it. If he doesn't, it's just more gold. So even a bad fight at this point, right at their shrine, allows almost an entire tower to be taken. Another kill on the Lion. Let's check the KDAs and see how people are doing. We've got Shadowfiend running a perfect game with 8 kills, 0 deaths, and 8 assists. And we've got Lion, who's complaining the entire game in all chat about how bad his team is. And meanwhile, he's got 0 kills, 9 deaths, and 5 assists. Lion basically is the worst player in the game, and of course is talking the most shit. That's just what bad players do, I guess. Pressuring around the bottom tower. A nice hook. Turns into a kill on the Weaver. And Radiant's able to just simply walk away. Here we've got a mistake by the Underlord. He really should be bottom with his team at that point in that team fight, especially considering his items. He's acquired a Crimson Guard at this point, and a Crimson Guard probably would have saved the Slark in that fight. Instead, he's still split pushing because it's been working, but at this point, he's not going to be taking the T3s in either of the other 2 lanes, and he can't take the shrines. The only objective really is that bottom T2 tower, so that really is where he should be playing around. The lane's already been pushed. Now, with almost the entire map to farm, the team is able to start farming. Weaver is going in solo to try to finish off that tower. Sniper's waiting in the bushes. The waiting in the bushes play basically means Sniper's also not getting any farm. Now he decides he's going to finally deny that tower. But he wasted a full minute just sitting in the bushes before deciding to deny. Showing up in the bottom lane. That lets everyone know there is no Sniper. This time Underlord is here with the Crimson Guard active, negating the great majority of their damage. Sniper comes in. Gets a kill on a mostly dead Underlord already. Slark's got dust. And this is going to be an easy kill. 4 dead on the Dire side. And let's see, does Radiant back away and go do something else, as we've seen mistakenly done in other games? No. They start forcing buybacks. Sniper doesn't buy back. But they do pull in a couple of kills. Pudge misses yet another hook. Pudge has got a Rod of Atos, and even with that, he's still missing hooks. That point was made during the game as well. 11-0 and 9, 10-4 and 8, 7-6 and 9. Underlord at 0-1 and 5 has the worst stats with 5 assists and 1 death, but he's also doing the great majority of the building damage, as we'll see at the end of the game. Checking net worth at this point, and we can see a huge advantage now in the Shadowfiend of 15,000. There's a player that actually knows how to farm 15,000 net worth at 28 minutes into the game. Slark at 11,000, and Slark is a notoriously slow starter, so that's just going to continue to snowball. Then we have Underlorded at 11,000, and then everyone starts grouping up after that. Pressure starts coming in the bottom lane. And again, even without stepping forward, they're able to take basically a third of a tower or a quarter of a tower just by using Meteor Hammer. Underlord does get Atos and hooked by Pudge in the first good hook of the game. So at 28 minutes, 29 minutes into the game, Pudge has managed finally to hook somebody. Just how much damage did they do? A full 400 damage with one hit from a Meteor Hammer. No one else touched that tower. Just Meteor Hammer it and run. The pressure stays on in all lanes. And let's go check some items. Weaver now has a full Lincoln Sphere completed, along with his power treads. Shadowfiend has got his Shadow Blade, he's got a BKB, he's got Boots of Travel, he's got a Yule Scepter. He is fat. Underlord with a Meteor Hammer and a Crimson Guard working towards a Shiva's. On the other side, what do we got? More kills. Axe has got a Blade Mail and a Crimson Guard and a Blink Dagger, so he's doing fairly well. Pudge has got an Atos and went Blade Mail, which is kind of surprising since no one's focusing the Pudge and there aren't a lot of giant explosive spells. The Blade Mail really doesn't make too much sense on him. A lot about him didn't make sense. Sniper's finally got a Mask of Madness and a Shadow Blade for survivability. He's also got a Maelstrom for some damage. Axe with another nice play. Checking the KDAs. Axe is now in with 9 kills, 8 deaths, and 4 assists. By far and away the only decent stats of anybody on his team. Underlord managed to ward the top lane, so Sniper is being spotted. Axe decides to contest Roche, and he's contesting it by himself. He manages to delay it, partly because Slark is bottom pushing out the lane. Now Radiant decides to go back into Roche again. Underlord's Q was recently nerfed as far as taking Roche. It no longer does hit point percentage based damage to Roche because it was far too easy to Roche. This particular Underlord, played by me, has a Meteor Hammer though, and so with a Meteor Hammer is able to do a pretty good amount of damage. So Underlord goes into the pit by himself to soften up Roche while the rest of his team shows on the map and continues to pressure the mid and bottom lanes. Pudge up top by himself has no chance of actually taking a tower, and now that Roche is below half, the rest of the team converges to finish him off. The team wisely puts the Aegis on Slark, giving him another life, and then pursues forward. Slark got way overzealous, ran straight in by himself, and basically just gave away the Aegis. That was an odd way to start the fight. It cost Shadowfiend his life, and that's probably the one mistake that Slark made all game, but that was a pretty egregious error. Pudge makes an equally bad mistake by charging out after everybody. His team comes to save him, and they've now gotten a few pickoffs. However, with those few pickoffs, Underlord goes mid, hits the tower, brings in the wave, and causes all of them to have to retreat in order to push out the lane again. The only lanes they can possibly go after is bottom, because the lanes are not pushed enough in the other, and therefore they can't do any tower damage. Underlord and Weaver are both up. Underlord goes top, Weaver goes bottom, they push out both lanes, and let's take a look at how much tower damage. Nothing to the T2 at the bottom, T1 still at more than half, T2 mid almost full as well. On the flip side, no T2s are left. T3 has taken a chip damage, T3's taken chip damage, and that one is full. So the misplays after Roche have cost Radiant no objectives, but probably 4 or 5 minutes of time, where this game could have been pushed forward considerably further. There's a DD in the river, Weaver spots it and grabs it immediately. And now they're going to go. Bugs are out. That's almost an instant kill on Lion. The Atos on Weaver doesn't work because of the Lincolns. Now that his Lincolns is popped, though, he can be hooked. There's a kill. Some damage being done, and meanwhile, where's Underlord? Oh, that's right. He's destroying the T3 tower. So in this case, there was an objective worth taking, and Underlord did the exact right thing by split pushing. That's a 3-for-1 in the group fight down here. That led to a simultaneous T3 tower drop mid. Underlord now pursuing the top tower. The rest of the team coming in to finish off mid. As the enemies collapse on Underlord, his team shows up. They're able to push them back, and they just go straight back to doing damage to the tower. Pudge walks in and dies before he walks out. That's another kill. And it's Meteor Hammer on the racks at this point. With Sniper dead, the enemy team doesn't have any real damage. Axe now gets up, but what's he going to really do? He can go in, sure, and he can call everybody. Crimson Guard comes out from Underlord, and now the chase is on to see if they can kill Axe before he makes it back to his own fountain. He does get back to his own fountain, but with only 2 alive, Sniper starts shooting at Underlord. Underlord simply starts to walk it off, and they've taken another rack mid. As they pursue, they get onto the Underlord, and they get the kill, but the rest of the team has escaped. Checking net worth again. 21,000 on Shadowfiend, 16,000 on Slark. Axe has picked up his game, gotten to 15,000, the same as the Underlord. Sniper, certainly not snowballing. Weaver, not really trying to snowball. He's had a very good game for a low net worth hero. He's picked up his Desolator. He's got his Lincoln Sphere. He's got his Dragonlance. He has all the necessary items to be effective. Certainly without getting wealthy. Axe misses his call on Weaver. They decide to start going forward on Dazzle to get the Atos and the hook. And that'll be a dead Dazzle. With everybody bottom, no objectives that they can take. So once again, they've run in. Yes, they've killed a support Dazzle, good for them. But they can take no towers, no shrines, no objectives. They can't get Roche off of that. Nothing. Meanwhile, Radiant has gone to the top lane. Pudge has come in by himself and is trying to bait people back to his team. Radiant spots it out. They're now fighting again at the shrine, which is a huge mistake. A nice Yules from Shadowfiend to save Slark. And Radiant's just too slippery. Now with a T3 down, they're able to make a play on killing the shrine. Axe comes forward, they get the call onto Slark. It's not enough because they don't have any damage. Pudge goes too far forward. He's now surrounded. Axe is forced to retreat. And they're going to have to concede this shrine. Underlord just pushing out lanes every time they do push in. Pudge is dead, but Sniper's still up, so most of their base defense is intact. Gyro smartly tries to missile the Weaver, except he's forgotten for the 3rd time that Weaver has a Lincoln Sphere and his missile won't work. The team all fights around top. Mid's already being pushed in. Underlord goes and pushes in bottom. They've now got 3 lanes pushing in. Dire does have a ward here, so this is happening under their vision, but they just simply can't contest it. And Radiant takes their other shrine. Now Dire has no mobility to teleport around the map. All they can do is hold up in their base, and the only hero they have that's of any real value in their base is Sniper, ironically, even though he had no value out on the map where he could get jumped at any moment. Atos and Hook. Underlord is certainly tanky. He's got a Crimson Guard, he's got hit points, he's got his aura, he's got all the items he needs at this point. An Aeon Disc, that's the item I was trying to think of, which allowed him to stay alive long enough that his team could collapse and kill everybody in the team fight. Now with just Sniper and Lion up, Sniper is very, very timid, doesn't want to step forward. He's going to try to just use Shrapnel. Weaver makes the play to get onto the Sniper. Lion doesn't have the damage, even with Finger of Death, to kill Weaver. And that'll be another tower. The lanes are all pushing in. Underlord with an offensive buyback while they're still down. Starts meteor hammering their racks. And this looks like it's going to be 2 sets of barracks. Gyrocopter comes in to try to save them. He gets rooted. Underlord's got Crimson Guard. Gyrocopter has no damage to try to prevent anything. The mid racks fall to Shadowfiend. The bottom racks fall as well, and that's Mega Creeps. Aeon Disc gets popped. Underlord walks away. The rest of the team shows up. A BKB used on Gyro. They get the kill, but there's the Aegis. Slark now comes forward, and it's a pretty much wiped out Dire team. Axe is the only one still alive. He decides to come in with a desperation call and gets killed as well. It's 46 minutes in. GG's being called for. Dire's not responding. Now Lion starts imploring everyone to finish the game. And that's it. This was a simple, straightforward, easy game to win, mostly because Sniper was the 10th character picked. Instead of choosing a character that had some hope of doing something in this game, he decided to go Sniper with the 10th pick. He forced the rest of his team to pick before him, and he got owned all game long, going 3, 5, and 12 against heroes that simply destroy him. You've got a 19, 1, and 18 Shadowfiend as the MVP of the game. He's uncalibrated, but clearly doesn't belong in the Crusader rank. Then you've got Weaver at 16 and 8 after starting off as basically a support roamer. You've got Slark at 15, 7, and 14, who managed to get quite strong in the end of the game thanks to a lot of help from the 6, 9, and 25 Dazzle. And Underlord at 1, 4, and 15, you'd feel sorry for him and say, boy, he had a rough game, but that's not true. He did close to 9,000 building damage once again, including most of the enemy towers before the barracks became exposed. Blocking more damage than he actually did, almost definitely. The builds are interesting. Shadowfiend has every item a Shadowfiend could want, probably except for a Silver Edge. He's got the Shadow Blade, he's got his Ags, he's got an Octarine Core, a Black Keen Bar, Blink Dagger, and a Yule Scepter. Incredibly mobile, high damage, 19, 1, and 18. That mobility was very important because he had to get Sniper off his spot. Gyrocopter, another character without a whole lot of escapes. Axe, someone you need to just get away from when you want to. And it just made it very easy for Shadowfiend throughout the game. There's your MVP. Let's take a look at the graphs. The game was consistently all Radiant, right from the get-go. At the 12-minute mark, when lanes ended, Shadowfiend in first place, Slark in second, Underlord down at third for the team. Player levels, similar stuff. Player items. For Underlord specifically, 6 minutes for Tranquils, 15 minutes for his Meteor Hammer. He went Crimson Guard first this time for 22 minutes and didn't get his Shivas until 35. That was a great game all around. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Please subscribe. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video here at relentless.games. Thanks.